Chapter 9, Features of C# 2.0. In this next lesson, we're going to take a look at iterators. So we will examine the reason or rationale for why iterators have been introduced. We'll look at what is an iterator, take a look at an example, and then we'll focus on the yield keyword. Generally speaking, enumerators are difficult to implement. Whenever developers come across something that's difficult to implement, they shy away from it and don't bother. So the language designers scratched their heads when they saw this after .NET 1.1 was released and saw people are not using it. Said, what can we do to make this a little bit easier? So they came up with a simplification of the steps and introduced the idea of iterators in C# 2.0. So what is an iterator? Well, an iterator is just a block of statements that yields an ordered sequence of values. You've seen this wherever you have a collection where you want to loop through using a for each statement, for example, a collection. So I have a collection of controls on a form, and I want to iterate through those, making them visible or invisible, hiding them. I may have an array of values or an array list that I want to loop through and display these on the screen or put them into a file. So the iterator is a very useful mechanism that we use frequently. In C# 2.0, then the iterator is distinguished from a normal statement block by the introduction of the yield statement, so one or more yield statements. How do we work this? So before we look at the new way, we've got to look at the old way of coding iterators. So if you wanted your class to be enumerable, to be able to iterate over the collection of things the class held, you had to implement the IEnumerable interface. That was step one. Then, the second step, you had to write a private class that implemented IEnumerator. The third step was code your getEnumerator method to call the private class passing in your object. Whew. That was just too much work for most developers. They just didn't bother doing it. So this was an underutilized feature, if you like, of language. The new improved way is much simpler. If you want your class to be enumerable now, you simply implement the IEnumerable interface. That's what we did previously. And hey presto, use the yield keyword and the getEnumerator method, and you're done. Dude, it's easy. I could do this. Here's an example of the yield usage. So I have a generic collection, the stack we looked at before in the previous lesson. I implement the IEnumerable interface, that's shown at the top. And then in my getEnumerator method, I simply say, create my for loop and yield return the value that I want to return. It's that simple. So if you go back and look at the way we did it before, look at this. This is really an order of magnitude easier. So the hope is developers will make use of it. So in this lesson we looked at the rationale for iterators. We looked at an example, the old way of coding iterators and the new way, and we looked at the yield keyword. So in upcoming demo we'll actually build a little example, work through it step by step so you get comfortable using this. Okay, thank you.
Thank you for viewing the video. Because of the video size limitation, we cannot post the complete video. Please visit www.learningdom.com to view the remaining video. Thank you.